We broke every rule. We are the Mavericks.
Screw them. They wanted more money.
Yeah. I don't want to pay you.
I don't have the money to pay.
I don't even want to pay my water bill. I'm going to pay a Zoom.
Exactly.
Good evening or morning or whatever time of the day it happens to be. Welcome one, welcome all to the Writers Bleck podcast. My name is Lego Mike Gargo. I am one of your hosts, joined alongside...
Hi, I'm Taylor.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I had one of those moments where I stopped and I'm like, is your last name still your last name? Because you're married now. Okay. I was gonna do a whole TNT thing and yeah.
That's a valid question because it's the number one question I get all the time is, are you planning to change your name? And I'm like, no, I like my name.
There you go.
Like, why would I change that?
Be proud of who you are. But anyway, this is the Writers Block podcast. This is the podcast for writers who cannot write. And by that, I more mean myself. I have the most severe case of ADHD brain where I made a video last year talking about this, where I started in 2020 during lockdown. I want to say like 11 different writing projects, and I finished 0. I was a 1-to-1 ratio of starts versus completions. On the other hand, Taylor, you are successful relatively with your ambition to write.
Yes.
Yeah, and I know you recently had kind of a big change to yourself, to your life, your kind of career trajectory involving writing, and I think that's amazing. And so, I think that's a big reason I reached out to you about doing this, is because it'd be nice to just talking about words.
That just summed up the writing process so well.
Talking about words and then
Yes.
nothing. So if you wouldn't mind, what is your writing background like?
So I will say I also have ADHD. So my biggest issue with writing is deadlines and getting things done.
Mm-hmm.
Almost impossible. But I started out writing as a really, really young kid. I'd write a lot of fantasy. I loved stories of magic and monsters and this badass hero girl who saves the world every single time. Clearly it was me escaping my life. And eventually when I got into middle school, yay, Jefferson.
Represent.
When I got there, I started writing fan fiction and was on various different writing websites. A lot of them don't exist anymore, which I'm really sad about.
Mm-hmm.
I have to use the Wayback Machine website to find my old profiles and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
Yes, it was horrible writing.
Uh-huh.
I've gone back and read horrible. One of them is literally a knockoff Harry Potter, but I thought it was so cool with it.
I was gonna ask with your younger stuff was how much plagiarism was involved, just because. See, me and Matt Lewis, we tag teamed a comic book for years, and it was just knocking off everything we could. It was Dragon Ball, it was Star Wars, it was DC Comics, it was everything that we liked. Sonic the Hedgehog, it was all in there. When we moved, I found a bunch of those, and just for shits and giggles, I'm like, well, let's see what's this. Horrible. Wasn't even put together well.
No, and at the time in middle school, I'd never kissed anyone. I didn't kiss anyone way late into high school. And so I'm writing anime fan fiction. I remember too clearly. I had one fan fiction about Sailor Moon. Mm-hmm. I should have known I was gay pretty clearly on. But the other one was Inuyasha because I'm in love with Shomaru. Mm-hmm. Me and him were falling in love in my fan fictions, and they were just horrible, just absolutely horrible. But I just kept at it for many, 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 many years until I think high school and college I stopped because it was no longer cool to write fan fiction. But also I got so focused on I have to keep my grades up so I can get into a good college. And my mom and them, they were not very supportive of a writing degree. They were pretty adamant that you can't do anything with an English degree, you end up homeless. And when you grow up really, really poor, you just kind of want to pick a path that will guarantee stability. So I was like, psychology, I know for a fact I'll be stable. Everyone needs it so bad. Mm-hmm. And so when I went to college, I started psychology and counseling and stuff like that. But I took creative writing classes while I was in college, and they were absolutely amazing. Actually, my professor at St. Mary's is now going to be my professor at Notre Dame in the fall. So
nice.
very excited about that. But yeah, I've pretty much been writing my entire life.
That's awesome. Ow. Oh, that's awesome. There's a desk there. Yeah, I was kind of in a similar situation where I wrote, my entire life, I wanted to be a comic book writer for so long. And my dad was always the guy of, oh, you'll never make money at that. You got to do something practical. Like even when I was super into wanting to be a filmmaker, which I still do one day. Oh, yeah, knock on. Yes. But it was always do something practical, play sports or do an extracurricular activity so you can get a scholarship and that can pay your way through college and you'll just figure the rest out from there. It's very much the don't follow your dreams, but follow your dreams mentality.
Yes.
And it's almost like, I don't know what was worse, that from my dad or my mom with the, oh, that's nice, dear, head pat kind of, I'm not listening to anything that you're actually saying, but that sounds really nice. You go do whatever it is you're talking about right now. One of the things I started last year was 2020. That was not last year, but I started a screenplay for a movie called The American Dream. And the whole premise was the idea of, that it's like, graduate, get scholarships, go to college, get a job, get married, have kids immediately, white picket fence, all that good stuff. Yeah. That is an ideal that has not really practically existed since the 1950s or 60s. And yet now, 50, 60 years later, we are still getting it drilled into our heads that this is what you need. This is Americana.
Yes.
And it's like that creates so many paradoxical interactions in life with just kind of what trajectory you're going to take. Now look at the Rugrats. Like the Rugrats is a great one, I think, for a lot of the memeable moments with the parents who clearly bought into that dream of, get married, have kids, whatever, and are not having a good time. Like Stu and Dee Dee Pickles are absolutely the face of the millennial generation, I feel like, in that regard.
Oh my God, yes. When I got engaged, the first thing my family was asking me is like, when we plan to have babies and stuff like that. And I was like, listen, at this rate, never. They're expensive. Life is expensive. The getting married part, a lot of it was connected to taxes and
it was practicality.
Exactly. I'm like, y'all raised me to be practical. And now it's not practical to have children because it's too expensive. So shh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something actually I'm dealing with. I deal with me and Grim talk about a lot because we've been together almost 6 years now. We talk about it she doesn't necessarily want to get married again just in case things go wrong. And it's understandable. Exactly. But also health insurance is a thing.
I now have Herschel's. Otherwise, I wouldn't have any at all. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah, right. The hustle. It is big thing though with a lot of people in our generation where you see that the creative drive isn't dying as easily as parents would have wanted to necessarily, or it's like it's going away for a bit and we're kind of shifting towards other things temporarily. But it's like, if you have a passion for something, I think we've all kind of reached the point, or we're starting to at least reach the point where it's like, I want to be a writer. I'm going to do this, even if I'm staying up till 3 a.m., in between my day job to, squeak something out of the keyboard.
No, I agree, because when COVID hit, we were all just like stranded in our homes. And I just graduated. There were like no jobs hiring. I managed to get a job in higher education, but definitely wasn't counseling. I was miserable in my counseling program. I knew I didn't want to do it. And since I got this position in higher education at Ivy Tech, I got to take free classes since I was full time. So I was like, man, screw it. We're all miserable. It's COVID. I'm going to take some creative writing classes. And it ended up changing my life. I took so many creative writing classes, and not just ones in South Bend and Elkhart. You can do online and virtual classes all across the state. So I took some classes at the Bloomington campus, and my professors were amazing. They blew my mind. They really helped me to make my writing so much more than I ever knew it could be. And they were the ones who encouraged me. They said, Taylor, you belong in like a creative writing program. And I was like, no, that'd be such a waste, because I just finished a master's in counseling and everyone will be so disappointed. But then I was like, why am I living for other people? I'm like, I love writing. It's what I want to do. I can make a career out of this. Why not? And so I'm just so mad at myself for wasting so much time. I should have just gone with my gut.
Yeah, it's a conflict we all have to go through at some point with kind of what do we want? Like, what do we really want out of life?
Yes.
Like, I could have stayed as a construction in electrical as an electrician, and I would have been miserable, because I was absolutely miserable.
Yep.
Like I left my electrical job right at the beginning of the pandemic because I was unhappy. In hindsight, maybe not the best time to actually, scratch that, because sorry, this is not going way off topic here, but I left that job and I was an Uber driver for 2 years. The first year of the pandemic, I made so much money because like essential workers, I mean, I feel like every business tried to really wiggle that in there, that we're an essential business and everyone still has to get to work.
So
But
true.
but for Uber drivers, there were maybe 5 of us that were doing it regularly, and it was incredibly busy, and gas was insanely cheap. It was like $1.50 at its lowest. I think it's $5.20 right now, and it's 1,000 degrees outside, and nothing is good anymore.
No,
Nothing is as good as it was during the pandemic.
I miss those days.
It's so weird. It's such a weird thing to say.
It is, because I wouldn't wish those deaths on.
Oh no, absolutely not. COVID's awful. The people that have died, it's terrible. The unrest that happened during that time period is awful.
Exactly. But
I loved having
that much needed break. I loved being home.
Yes, I got to be home. I went to the dog park every day, sometimes twice a day, and I just sat there and I wrote. I literally, for the longest time, the one project I started that was kind of the longest going was I started writing a science fiction novel, and that was where I went to do it. Either I would sit there and I would clack it out on my keyboard on my laptop, or I would walk the dogs around either the dog park or through the woods, and I would just work scenes in my head of how this is going to go. Also didn't finish that project, but I have not given up on that one yet. The problem with that one is I got so far in my own head that I was suddenly on book 3, and I'm like, screw book 1, let's write book 3.
Yep.
I can make this a 20-book series. Why not? Oh, yeah, no. 4. We're doing 4. At the moment, we're doing 4.
Wow.
But we are not doing 20. I laid out a whole like roadmap, like I was plotting like multiple seasons of television, and I'm like, you do not have the discipline for this. You're insane.
That is exactly why. So I obviously grew up writing fantasy, a lot of fiction, fan fiction, but I eventually transitioned now as an adult to more creative nonfiction, simply because I write personal essays, so they're very short and sweet. And I realized shorter things are just enough for my attention span, because I just cannot seem to complete longer stuff, no matter how much I want to. I want to eventually write a longer novel. I have started a romance novel, historical romance novel, and I've only gotten to chapter 1 because my brain immediately goes, let's go to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm on to another personal essay. So the personal essays, I'm able to just push those out very, very quickly. And like when it pops into my brain, I can really quickly write it down and move to the next. And my ADHD brain likes that. Yeah,
it's a marathon, not a sprint. Definitely with writing longer stuff. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but it was more than I started. I think it was 17 projects in the pandemic. Again, didn't finish any of them, but it was multiple novels. It was a screenplay. It was a couple different comic books, one of which was an anthology comic book. It was called Saturday Morning Comics, and it was going to be a couple just like short stories in comic form of kind of along the lines of the Saturday morning cartoons I grew up watching. Like I had a robot kind of mech thing, like very similar to Transformers or Voltron, called Machine Spirits. There was a Pokemon ripoff called Toy Box. There was just, but yeah, it's like I started so many projects and I kind of burned myself out. And I say that 2021 for me, at least personally, was a worse year than 2020. Because that is the year that I burned out on so many things.
Yes.
And now I'm because like I was doing YouTube stuff regularly last year. I was writing like crazy. And by the end of the year, I was like struggling to like find any semblance of normalcy or like creative spark. It was just wake up, work, whatever I'm doing, sleep. There was like no joy in my day to day. And that's burnout. Burnout is bad.
So what do you do to typically get yourself out of burnout? Because that's something I struggle with as a writer. And like, I'm going to be going into a creative writing master's program in the fall, and I still have no idea what I'm going to do. Because I'm like, when I burn out, I just move on to the next thing. But you can't do that in school. Otherwise you fail out. So what do you do to take care of yourself?
Take care of myself is not how I would describe it at all. So it's a weird, when I get burned out, usually it's outside factors on top of everything else. Just depression hitting as hard as it can. One thing I've been doing lately, and I think it's been helping, is I've been taking bike rides, like really long bike rides. And then walks are good for that, like going through the woods and stuff. Just kind of it clears the head, but also a weird thing I do with it is I use my surroundings as kind of inspiration, I guess, in a weird way. One of my first kind of setbacks when I was writing my science fiction book that I again haven't finished. I was walking the dogs. It was a hot fall day in the Rum Village woods, and there were orange leaves everywhere, but it was also like blazing hot. And I'm like, throw in just some random bits of lava, maybe like, and I would start like mapping out plot points of I could do this and this and this, and suddenly I have a setting for, something in book 2.
Exactly.
And just that, that is the way my brain works. Also impulse shopping is a good one. Oh my God. So I've gotten into a really bad habit with that lately, and it has helped. I hate to admit it. I will cycle through what I'm going to obsessively spend money on. It was Star Wars books for a hot minute there. And then it's been Doctor Who audio dramas because they had a CD sale. So I have now a shelf full of those things. And it's transitioning back into comic books.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that I work right around the corner from Half Price Books.
Mm-hmm.
So I call those my decompression lunches when I really need them. It's always to look, not to touch. But at the same time, I was not supposed to leave work with just a mountain of comic books today. So I did that, and I regret a little bit of it. It's weird, like the treat yourself mentality of it all. It does help, though.
It really does.
Don't bankrupt yourself.
See, that's the issue I face, is because shopping for me with, again, ADHD. Yes, I constantly that instant gratification in that moment, and then obviously I'm broke. Woohoo. So something I've been doing to kind of give myself that same feeling I get, that rush I get when I finally purchase something, is I've been entering random contests and giveaways I find on Google. And so one of my favorite websites, it's called the Freebie Guy, and he updates every single day, has all the contests he can find all over the web. And that's what I do, and I've won quite a few things. Last year I won $4,000. I was the grand prize winner of Blue Diamond almonds.
Okay.
I won I thought it was a fake. I was convinced it was, but thankfully my husband works in IT, and he said, Taylor, this is a legit email. I was like, so that was cool. So Oreo had their 110th anniversary this year, and they had this big contest going on for months. The prize I wanted, they were giving away a lot of really cool stuff. The prize I wanted to win was vacation for 2 anywhere you want. They'll pay up to $10,000. So I had, like, from the day that giveaway opened to the day that day ended, I mean, every single day I was sending in like a submission. One day I wasn't paying attention and I clicked the wrong thing. Guess which prize I won?
Oh no.
The wrong one. So I will be getting in a couple weeks. It's a very fancy, it's like a $1,500 telescope from the Oreo company. So I will be able to see stars, but I really wanted to go on vacation.
Vacations are nice. Telescopes are cool. My dad was a big astronomy nerd, so I feel like he would rather have that. So I respect the dedication to that.
Yes.
Because funnily enough, I entered, not last year, it was a few years ago that Oreo had a similar contest. I think it was like 2019.
Yes.
And I was entering it. It was like a custom Oreo Xbox was what I was trying to win. It was so cool. I did like once a day, every 2 days, and eventually just forgot.
Yep.
That's how I'm like, I need some kind of like instant reward. Like I need knowledge that I'm on the right track.
Yes.
Otherwise, just.
No, I'm the same way. And so like what I do is I spice it up. So I do the one-time only entries where you just apply once and hope to God you win, the daily entries, and then I do the instant win prizes. And so some of them, because they do it at various times of the day, you just gotta hope that you hit the right time.
Yeah.
I've won a variety of random things. Like recently, what are those darn candies? Sour Patch Kids has a Stranger Things contest right now. And I managed to win the new Stranger Things like candy box. And so I'm like, yay, candies. So that's just kind of how I hype myself up every day. I'm like, okay, Taylor, we're not going to spend money. We're going to win things.
Okay, so we covered contests. We covered. All right. So, this is a good one for you. So, congratulations on your recent publication.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
I saw that. Want to talk a little about that?
Yeah, sure. So this piece is actually the first piece I ever wrote in like 2020, my first creative writing class that I took at Ivy Tech. The teacher's name is Claire Roof. So if anybody wants to take classes at the South Bend Elkhart campuses for Ivy Tech and take creative writing, Professor Claire Roof is amazing and she was wonderful. And I don't even remember what the assignment was. I don't know. I just really got into it and I decided I do remember that it was about pain. And I was like, wow, what's the most painful memory I can think of? And it was this fight I'd had with my older brother where he called me the N-word. Yes, very yikes. And I haven't really looked at that piece since 2020. And so recently I re-looked at it and I was like, wow, I should maybe send this out like to literary magazines because they're open. Most are open like all year round. You can just send them in whenever. What I recommend is when you do send them out, don't just send to one place, send to several different places.
I wrote this down.
The wait times to see if you even got accepted. Oh my, I get rejections like every single day, so it's not fun. So that piece had been rejected quite a few times until this journal, they're called So to Speak. It's a very feminist journal, and that's something I really, really loved, and that's one of the reasons I submitted to them, because I knew that they focused a lot on intersectionality, racism, things like that. And so thankfully they loved the piece, and then I worked with an editor for about 2 weeks who helped me really refine the piece and make it beautiful. And then a couple weeks later they sent me the link saying, Taylor, it's live now. And they have a print copy of their magazine, and they have like an online, and I submitted for the online version. So, and something I like about that versus print is that I can just send the link out to anyone instead of having to tell them, hey, go buy the book and then you can read it. So yeah, it was a long process, because again, you have to wait several months to get a response, because so many of them get submissions every single day. But that feeling when you're like, yes, someone wants it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, I'm proud of you. That is awesome. I know I've looked into it, because at the beginning of the year, one of the other ways I kind of fought through my burnout was I tried writing just a bunch of weird short stories. Because I was listening to, so this is a weird deep cut. So there is a writer for Doctor Who for the audios and for a couple of us of the TV show his name is Robert Shearman. Mm-hmm. And he's written some of the best kind of episodes of that show in audio format. And he wrote one of the best like episodes, in my opinion. And he also does just, like compilations of short stories. And there was a sale on the audiobook version of one of them. Oh God, what is it? It says like Love Songs for the Shy and Cynical, I think it's called. It is the weirdest, just trippiest abstract book ever. One of the stories, this one that opens on, it's the devil writes a love story, like a love novel. But anyone who reads it goes to hell. And he gets fame and fortune for writing this book. And he's just telling everyone, stop reading it. I feel bad. It is so weird. And so I've listened to that and I'm like, all right, let's try writing something kind of weird. Mm-hmm. And the premise I came up with, I wrote 2 of them. One was about kind of disassociating. So it was very much my BPD kind of materializing, where every kind of job, and it very much was a personal thing, like every job that the person in the story gets, they adopt the whole new personality of that career. They move on to the next career, but that other personality is still with them, and it very much conflicts with the new them. And suddenly there were like 8 personalities. And the whole concept was the guy gets tired of the personalities. And I wanted to do this as a short film originally, just because I think the visual is cool, but I don't know how the hell to pull it off. Where he snaps, like the main character snaps, he takes a bat and starts like beating his personalities, and every time he hits one, it like shatters like Legos, and then he's just dead behind the eyes. Like he goes through like months of just kind of like, not really being there, but being there, very disassociated, and then decides one day to start piecing them back together like the Legos, and just eventually builds himself, like the actual version of him. And the other one was about a guy who doesn't want to go to hell, so he waits outside the gates of heaven and just camps out. That was the other one. That one was bizarre. That one was one of those ones, I had so much caffeine pumping through my veins at that point. I don't understand how I made the leaps I made, because it was just supposed to be a nope, not going in thing. And it somehow ended up with heaven in a civil war. Caffeine, that's another one for Berkshire. Just don't get hooked on Bang energy drinks. That's my best advice.
Oh my husband drinks one every single day.
Stop him. I got hooked on those the first time I was working at the news station I'm working at. I got so hooked on those. Then I went to construction and it got so much worse. I was drinking like 4 of them a day. I think that's actually a part of the reason I had the breakdown that I had in 2021, because I kind of hit a point of those where it was no longer safe to drink them. Yes. So I stopped. And I started having just emotional spirals. I still have like exhaustion issues.
Mm-hmm. It makes a lot of sense. You really do. Like in 2020, I was in a wedding, and when COVID hit, I'd been eating and drinking my way through life to cope. And then when it was time for the wedding, I couldn't fit in my dress anymore. A couple months before the wedding, I had to cut out all sugar just so I could try to lose weight in time. And I've never seen myself like that. I was so mean. I was like shaky and twitching because I wanted chocolate and sweets so bad. So I get it. You kind of become a different person.
Yeah. It's not fun. I still don't think I'm totally right from that, because like caffeine hits me so differently now, where there are times I'm great and it's just what I need, and there are times like the other day, last week, I got an iced coffee from Panera, and I took like 4 sips of it and I couldn't have it. I'm like, nope, I can't do that anymore. Like my coworkers think I'm nuts because I'm already very spastic with the way I am. And like they misconstrue that as like nervous anxiety. Like, oh no, he's panicking. I'm like, no. I'm just insane. I'm just quirky.
I feel like for me, and I don't know if this is a difference between genders and ADHD, because I know it shows itself so vastly different in each person. But for me, like it's never very outward. It's in my head completely. So people think I'm super chill and calm, but in my head, I'm like, like 24/7. My head never stops, and I hate it.
Yeah, I try to be like that so hard, but eventually the chaos, it can't be contained. And I realize I'm not listening to anything that's happening around me, but I need to be paying complete attention. And then I'm paying less attention because I'm like, what did they say? What did they say? And it's just like back up.
Yep. That just summed up my life.
So if you had to pick kind of a short-term goal, like like a project you want to tackle like in the next year, or what do you think that would be?
My thesis is going to be a big deal, since it's 2-year program, but that doesn't include summers. It's just fall, spring. That's going to fly by. So getting my thesis is going to be very important. And pretty much what your thesis is at Notre Dame is just 150 pages of writing. That could be a story, that could be personal essays. I mean, poetry, whatever it might be. It's a hefty goal. And so my goal, since I eventually want to write like a book of personal essays that I've written, somehow tied around the same themes and stuff like that, I'd like to pick all my best essays that I think would go well together and finally start writing pieces that will like tie it all together, intro, conclusion, things like that. So that's my goal. And I don't know if it's achievable right now.
I think you've got what it takes. You've got the moxie.
Oh, I'm gonna need a lot more of it.
I think that's a very attainable goal. I think that you take it seriously enough. I think you can definitely work at. Yeah.
Make sure I take my Adderall every single day.
That is important. Adderall, yeah. I need to schedule it. So with this job, I got health insurance again. Oof. So I went back to my doctor and I'm like, I am ready to get back on medication. And she was like, okay, cool. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put you back on your antidepressant. We're gonna put you on something new for anxiety. Come back in 3 months and then we can talk about getting you on a stimulant for your ADHD. And I went, but I need it now.
No, I completely
with my brain no longer spiraling into chaos constantly.
They did the same thing to me too. I had to first wait until I adjusted to my antidepressants, and then they were like, okay, now let's talk. And I'm like, I missed so many months of like productivity. Why?
Yeah. And it's like I hear about the kind of the people who are on like Adderall and it works for them and they can like focus so like they're like tuned right into what they're doing. And I'm like, cool. I kind of write for a living. And I make so many spelling mistakes. I'm getting in so much trouble because I am missing so many things.
I feel like Adderall for me does not do that. Like it just kind of calms my brain enough that I can focus a little better. But like for my sister who doesn't have ADHD, if she takes an Adderall, oh my God, she's doing she can get everything she possibly needs done. She's hyper focused. I take it and maybe instead of having 10,000 thoughts a minute, I now have like 5,000 thoughts a minute. So I'm like, cool, great.
Yeah. I have not been on medication for ADHD since I'm probably 3rd grade because that was when all like the medications were still new and they all had bizarre side effects.
Yes.
And I think it was when I told my dad I was hearing voices.
Yep.
That's when he pulled me off. He's like, nope, we're not doing this anymore. We're done.
Yes. My mom refused to let us get on any kind of medication. So even though it was clear there was a problem, I was not able to get on medication till way late into adulthood. So I can relate. Yes.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, I understand because I do vividly remember those days and they were not happy days for me.
Yeah.
But you know, therapy or something.
Yes, exactly.
Something would have been great. This is the nice thing about ADHD is it is a constant source of inspiration. Like I feel like what I was talking about earlier with the kind of riding my bike and like picking out like scenery and adjusting that into a scene, that is very much an ADHD trait.
Yes, literally for me, like whenever I talk to other writers, they always talk about how like I take an hour every day to like get all my thoughts out and write, or like they have special writing time. I'm like, listen, no, I'll just be walking down the street and suddenly a thought pops in my head. I'm like, I should write that down. Otherwise I'm going to forget. And there we go. There sprouts a new piece. I could not just sit myself down and force myself to write. It never works like that.
9 out of 10 times, if I do something like that and I write down my thought, it just gets lost in the jumble of other thoughts that I've had in my phone's notepad. And half the time, I don't know what they mean because it's all shorthand. Yep. It's like, what does Queen's speech mean?
Exactly. I'm like, so now I've had to force myself to be a little more descriptive of what I was trying to say. Otherwise, I have no idea what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, get a brief synopsis, if nothing else.
Yes, I'm currently working, because random thoughts pop into my head on a regular basis, but I'm writing a piece on like my sexual experiences, which yikes. But it's important, and it all just sprouted because of a random thought that popped into my head, and I'm like, cool, great.
Oh my God, that's another one. I forgot about that one. I started writing, and I say I started writing, I wrote a brief outline of it and quickly abandoned it because I cannot write to save my life. But I started writing a teen sex comedy because I watched American Reunion during the lockdown, and I'm like, I have some wacky stories about my youth when I was a young whippersnapper like you doing the boogie woogie. Yeah. I don't think it was a bad. I think that my synopsis was fun. It was just it's like, so my biggest like setback as a writer is I think I'm a very good dialogue person. I think I write great conversations. I am ass at writing descriptions. That was like my biggest flaw as a writer of like cinematics, is I don't know how to describe what I want. Like when I was directing, like when I did the YouTube stuff, I could not for the life of me say, okay, we're gonna pan the camera this way. I want you to do this, and this. I would go, just ad lib. And that's why with that kind of the teen sex comedy idea. No.
So that's funny because I'm the complete opposite. Dialogue, I suck at. I'm so good at the descriptive part, but I need to get better because I told you I'm trying to attempt to write a romance novel, and there's got to be dialogue. Like, I guess they could just fucking not ever talk, but I'm gonna try to put some dialogue in there, and I'm just struggling because I'm like, I can describe the room that they're in, the ball gowns, I can describe the love, but the minute they need to talk, it's like,
why is it sounding like George Lucas is writing?
Yes.
Why is this sounding like the Star Wars prequels?
Yes, exactly. Oh,
of course, and rough and gets everywhere.
I just rewatched those, so that just really hit.
I love those movies. Like I am so tired of pretending I don't like the prequels. I grew up with them. I acknowledge that they are very flawed movies.
Yes.
I think it also helps with having the context. I don't know if you watched the Clone Wars.
Yes.
Yeah, that definitely helps make it a lot better and really just drives home the point. This should not have been a trilogy. Star Wars was kind of the thing that got me like seriously wanting to write and to make stuff. Like I always, like as a young kid, I wrote comic books, but that's what every little kid did. We wrote comic books with superheroes and whatever else, and played our pretend games on the playground. So the VHS copy we had of Star Wars, it started with a documentary, like a mini like interview with George Lucas. And I kind of that's the first time I realized that, oh, someone made this. Like that kind of connection happened. And I'm like, I can make something like this too. And so I idolized kind of George Lucas and the Star Wars formula, and kind of Indiana Jones had a similar like trilogy setup. Back to the Future, all the best things are trilogies, and so you have to write it as a trilogy. It's like you don't
exactly
trying to like break out of that, because that is such a limiting way of thinking. Because I am writing a space opera, like it is a novel series, but it cannot be 3 books. So much falls to the wayside with 3 books. Even like, so right now I'm going back again and I'm rewriting the beginning. Because book 1 is about to become book 2.
Yeah.
Because in rereading everything that I've written, I'm like, it is so much. It's kind of confusing. Yeah. Because these characters are in the kind of the original book 1 I wrote. They're at a place where it's like, I feel like I missed something with all of these people. And that's true. You did. So going back and doing a prequel book, not a prequel, but the actual book 1 that really sets up these characters, why they're doing what they're doing, their motivations. So much better than a flashback or a throwaway line of dialogue ever could.
Yes.
It's just breaking out of that mentality of, I have to do 3 of these and be done. It's either I have to do a trilogy or I have to do like 45 books.
Yes, I struggle because I constantly, everything I write has to be a hit. And the thing is that it's not even possible. I get like 1,000 rejections in a day from various places. And I'm like, it's okay if what you write is just something that you like and no one else ever likes it. And so I have to get myself out of that perfectionist, like if it's not good, it's not worth it. Because that's not true. Sometimes just writing for joy is okay. And just writing something just to write. Like not everyone's gonna like it. And so that's what I've been struggling with lately. Like lately, I'm like, if it's not, I don't know, the New York Times list, then is it worth it?
For me, it's like I need instant gratification of anything that I make. That's why YouTube is both such a blessing and a curse, because people instantly see it, but not enough people instantly see it, or I don't get feedback. And I'm like, oh my God, I make something bad.
Yes.
And so like with writing, it's always been, I feel like if I had utilized things like Tumblr when I was in high school for like writing, as opposed to just sharing emo memes, I think that would have helped a lot with that. Like, and now it's like we're at a point, I don't know what to use to publish things like short stories. Cause ideally you write a story, I write something, I edit it, I review it, whatever, and I put it out somewhere. Where do I put it out though? Does get a WordPress? Do I get a Tumblr? Do I get a...
Oh, I'm so glad that I'm on this then, because I have so many things I can talk about. Obviously WordPress is great too, but so variety, I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of literary magazines all across the country, and they're constantly looking for short stories, creative nonfiction, poetry, screenplays, reviews. I mean, the list goes on and on. And so the first thing I did, because my professor's like, you should get this published. It's like, how do you do that? And they were like, I didn't realize students don't actually know how this process works. I'm like, yeah, I have no idea. So pretty much they started me with like Googling literary magazines that are looking for like submissions right now, open submissions, things like that. There's various websites you can find. There's so much stuff. Obviously there's like the top list. When you think, I'm trying to think, the New Yorker, Paris Review, those ones I just have kind of accepted right now. I'm never gonna get into those, but maybe later on down the line. But then there's like some like a little bit further down the list of like top literary magazines, but they're still just as well read and amazing. And there's so many out there. And so what my teachers encouraged me to do is don't just submit to one, submit to several, the same piece to several places, and then move on to next piece. And also what's great about a lot of these magazines is that they often have editorial feedback options. Like maybe you can pay $5 and they're willing to review it and give you tons of feedback on how you can improve. So like when my people, like the first few times I started submitting and I kept getting rejections, I finally said, screw it, I'm just going to pay it. And so I paid like $10 for this magazine to like give me some serious feedback on some of my work. And because of that feedback, it ended up getting published. So I highly encourage just doing some Google searches, because it's been so worth it. Plus, there's always so many writing contests that you can enter and stuff like that. And it's just so much fun. I love it.
Nice. Out of curiosity or something like that, when you submit a piece to multiple places, are they able to be like if someone says, I want to publish this, this is probably a weird question, but it's like, is that like an exclusive thing, or like can multiple places publish one piece?
So it depends. It's very rare, but some places will allow you to publish previously published works. But typically, once one, so the website that most literary magazines use is called Submittable.
Okay.
Super cool. Just go create an account. Takes like 2 seconds. Submittable. That's what the average thing. And what I love about Submittable is if you don't know about any literary magazines, they have a Discover tab where you can just go see which ones are currently accepting.
Okay.
Which I love.
Submittable.
So
that's awesome.
Create an account, and then that's how you can decide who you want to submit to. Also, you can go to Google, and usually if you go to their website, they'll say submit here, and you can click that link and it'll take you to their submittable website that you can submit everything to. So typically you submit them to multiple places because you never really know what the theme might be. Some places will tell you this is the theme for this month's journal. Some of them won't. So you just kind of got to hope that your writing fits the theme for some of them. Viewing their website and reading their previous magazines can sometimes help with that as well. But usually the first one that takes it is usually the one I go with, which again, I'm very new writer, so it's probably not the best thing. My other friends, they usually wait till like more distinguished literary magazines, like give them a yes or no before they accept. When one has accepted, you're like, I think I want to go forward with this. You have to withdraw the other applications from other places. You have to let them know. And there's like, what's great about Submittable is there's a withdraw button and it lets you type a note like, hey, thank you for your consideration. It's been accepted somewhere else.
Okay.
Simple as that. So it's a really cool process. But you have to keep in mind, some places it costs money to submit. Some places it doesn't. So one thing I liked about Submittable is you can select no fee, because they start to add up. Like some of them, it's like $2 or $3 to submit a piece, but that starts to add up after a while. And I don't have that kind of money. So I usually try to send no fees.
It's kind of like a streaming app situation where It's affordable, and then you get another one and another one. Next thing you know, you're paying more than cable. We got that Disney Hulu bundle, which has been it's nice, and we get AT&T or we get AT&T. We get HBO through AT&T, which is nice.
Smart. I use HBO Max so much more than pretty much all and Hulu. Those are the two I use the most. Other than that, the rest of them, they barely get used.
Yeah, that's kind of me. Like we use Netflix, one of her friend's Netflix accounts.
Yes.
It's rare. Like I think Love, Death, and Robots is like the only thing on there. Like the only like Netflix or it's not true. Lock and Key. That's
Ooh, I've heard that's good.
Season 1's phenomenal, and season 2 is still very good.
I feel like Netflix is really good at doing amazing first seasons of shows. And then after that, things just start to go downhill. I'm like, Netflix, keep that same energy. Why?
They can't all be Cobra Kai, man. They can't all be Cobra, which is ridiculous from start to finish. And you know what you're getting into. I'm so happy. I'm so excited for Cobra Kai.
I'm currently binging season 4 of Stranger Things, and
I still gotta watch Stranger Things. I've seen season 1, and we got like halfway through season 2 and just never finished it.
I see season 1 just beautiful. I will say season 4, the one that just came out, it's feeling more in line with season 1.
Okay.
So I'm like, it's been able to keep my attention because again, my attention span's so limited. But I'm like, okay, you all are coming back. You're keeping me in. This is good.
I don't know. I get really overwhelmed. But like that's why part of why I can't watch anime, because there are just so many episodes, and it's like
it's too much, and I just can't. No.
Yeah, like it takes
for the longest time. I apologize. I was just rewatching Scrubs for like the 15,000th time, and Herschel kept saying, my husband, he kept saying, Taylor, are you going to start anything new? I'm like, right now, this is comforting. I know what to expect. It's my comfort show. That in The Office, I just repeat them, even though it's like you've seen them 1,000 times. Scrubs is amazing.
Yep, it's me. It's Scrubs, Parks and Rec, How I Met Your Mother, and Smallville. Those are like my 4.
Ooh, Smallville. It's Ghost Whisperer, which is on Hulu too. Scrubs, The Mindy Project, The Office, things like that. I know them so well, and some of them I can even repeat by heart. But I'm like,
what would you say the best episode of television is to you?
Oh my gosh, that is such a hard question.
Because I have an answer. And it might be, I can't tell if it's either a good answer or a bad one.
It depends on like the subject matter, like the best episode related to grief, or just the funniest episode, things like that. So I'm like,
funny. It's funny you say funny and grief, because that's kind of mine, is my lunch from Scrubs, when where Dr. Cox accidentally kills 3 people.
Yeah, I know that episode. I rewatch it so often, which is really messed up because it's so sad, but it really hits you so hard.
It is such a phenomenal episode. And Scrubs, I think Scrubs and really all like comedy sitcoms, they are at their best when they are suddenly left turning to punch you in the face. Like How I Met Your Mother, the episode where Marshall's dad dies. That's another one where I'm like, oh, this isn't funny anymore, but it's just I'm engaged.
Yes.
And like I feel like Scrubs did that constantly with the one like Brendan Fraser's a ghost.
Stop. When you realize that he's at his funeral, I just sob because it hits me so hard. That one's a really, really hard one for me.
Or it's season 8, episode 3, the one with the cancer patient who is dying, and Turk and GD forfeit steak night to sit with him.
I just watched that one like a day ago. So I love that one. And he's so scared like to die alone, and they stay with him the whole time. And Scrubs really is just an amazing show. I could talk about that show for hours. The writing just beautiful.
I'm in the same boat. And it's like, even when it's kind of, I feel like seasons 5 and 6 are kind of when it's at its most cartoony. And that's kind of where I'm not as into it as I was in other seasons.
I completely agree. Which one's your favorite season though?
I really love season 8.
That's my favorite season.
That is like the best mix of the insane and the I'm gonna punch you in the face with emotion. Like like the episode where the lawyer Ted, when he finds the girl that he loves, and JD and the janitor work together to get them together. That, or the one where they go to Jamaica for the janitor's wedding. Yeah,
that 2-part episode.
That's a great episode.
Oh.
And Ted sings "Hey Ya," and that is just.
I play that version all the time. I love Ted's band. They were amazing.
I think I have a very photographic memory. Like Scrubs, I think it's Scrubs and Smallville. I'm like, I can quote, like Grim and I about 3 months ago, we played Smallville Bingo, where she gave me the episode title and I had to give her the plot, which is the brief synopsis of the plot. And I got into like season 6 or 7 before I wasn't stumped, but I was like, oh no, what do I do here? Because I just watched. Thank you. That one I've been watching on repeat though since I was in the 5th grade. So that one's.
I like was obsessed with Shrek growing up, and I used to have every single line memorized. And even now, sometimes when I watch it, I'll still like recite the lines as I'm watching, and I'm like, we need to watch something else.
There was a meme that Grim showed me 2 weeks ago now, but it was, Dad, what are you doing? Why aren't you paying attention? Kid, sorry, I was watching Shrek in my head. And I keep saying that, like, I was watching Shrek in my head, sorry.
Yes, I constantly find myself saying, like, not the gumdrop buttons, or like buttons. Just random lines from that, like, he huffed and he puffed and he signed an eviction notice. I just love that.
I have a soft spot for 4, and I don't know why. It's just they did something different, and for me personally, it landed. And I know it was a cliche, like a mismatch of cliches, tried and true, but it was charming, and it's the characters I enjoy. It's kind of the way I feel about Solo, where it's like that movie is littered with film cliches. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
I should give it a shot because I know everyone like destroyed it.
Oh my God. People hated it, and I don't understand why. Like, I mean, riddled with movie cliches, 1 or 2 very stupid things that have been memed to death on the internet, fine. I really enjoyed Solo. I think that they did a good job. I think, yes, you can very clearly see the production problems wearing on its sleeve when it goes from the tone just shifts abruptly, but I really enjoyed it. So before we go, I just have one last thing. So every episode, I'm going to end with this. Actually, there's 2 things, but we're just doing one. We're just gonna do one right now. What is a goal you want to accomplish with writing in the next 2 weeks?
The next 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I'd like to write a love poem. I'm not a huge poet.
Okay.
I'd like to be.
Okay.
But poetry's not my thing, and it's something I'm trying to work on. And so I realized I write a lot of sad. I write a lot of like trauma. I write a lot of really deep things. And I was like, Taylor, well, let's write about something joyful, please. And so I'd like to try to expand and learn more. And we're going to see how that goes in 2 weeks.
I believe in you. For me, the 2 short stories I talked about earlier, the one with the Lego imagery and the Heaven one. I want to finish those, at least a draft of both of those, because the Heaven one's almost done. I think the other one is too. But yeah, I want to at least finish a draft of those, and we'll see what happens. That is my goal. We'll check back on those in 2 weeks in the next episode of Writers Bleck.
You got this.
So in the meantime, thank you guys so much for listening or watching or whatever you did to this episode of Writers Bleck, the podcast. Whether you were listening to it on a podcast service that I have yet to figure out, I'll get there. It's a learning experience for all of us, or watching the still audio version on YouTube. But yeah, wherever you're listening to this, let us know what you think about it. Comments down below, or wherever comments are, how many stars. I gotta really look into this. But we'll be back in 2 weeks for the next episode of Writers Bleck, the podcast. We'll have a little bit more structure. This was just a pilot episode to kind of get you guys to know us, kind of get our thoughts and feelers out there, and it's been fun. I like to think. Till next time, I've been Lego McGrego. That's been Taylor, whatever direction she's in. You've been awesome, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.